Ever wondered what governments might be hiding from us? What secrets have been swept under the rug? Welcome to the enigmatic world of government cover-ups, a place where truth and deceit intertwine to shape the course of history. From the shadows of warfare to the mysteries of extraterrestrial life, these cover-ups span a vast array of topics, each more intriguing than the last. So buckle up and prepare to have your mind blown as we unravel the top 10 government cover-ups. Let's start with the infamous Roswell incident of 1947. In the heart of New Mexico, a curious event unfolded that would set the stage for countless conspiracy theories. An unidentified flying object, or UFO, was reported to have crashed in the desert, sparking widespread speculation. Eyewitness accounts spoke of strange debris unlike anything they had ever seen. But barely had the dust settled when the US government stepped in, swiftly dismissing the UFO claims and categorizing the incident as a mere weather balloon crash. The military maintained that the debris was nothing more than the remains of a downed Project Mogul balloon, designed for high-altitude weather research. Yet the suddenness of the government's response and the hushed tones that accompanied the aftermath of the event left many unconvinced. Questions lingered, whispers grew, and the Roswell incident became the stuff of legends. Could this be the biggest cover-up of extraterrestrial life? Fast forward to 1962, Operation Northwoods takes center stage. The Cold War was at its peak, with tensions simmering between the US and Cuba. The US Department of Defense proposed an audacious plan to stage acts of terrorism on American soil, all to justify a war against Cuba. Yes, you heard it right. The very government sworn to protect its citizens contemplating an unthinkable act. This was Operation Northwoods. It included plans for hijacking planes, bombing US cities, and even orchestrating violent terrorism in major cities. The idea was to blame these acts on Cuba, thus providing a casus belli for military intervention. This chilling proposal was thankfully rejected by President Kennedy, but the fact that it was even considered and subsequently covered up raises many unsettling questions. A chilling plan that never came to fruition, but was it the only one of its kind? Moving on to 1964, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. This was an alleged attack on US ships by North Vietnamese forces that served as the catalyst for the escalation of the Vietnam War. The official narrative told us that the USS Maddox, on a routine patrol, was unprovokedly targeted by 3 North Vietnamese torpedo boats. This incident led to the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, granting then-President Lyndon B. Johnson the authority to assist Southeast Asian countries threatened by communism. However, decades later, declassified documents and insider testimonies have cast a shadow of doubt over the authenticity of the incident. Some suggest that the attack may not have happened at all, or was greatly exaggerated to justify military intervention in Vietnam. The lines between fact and fabrication blur, leaving us to wonder about the true events of that fateful night in the Gulf of Tonkin. A potential fabrication that led to war. What else don't we know about this incident? Next up, the Watergate scandal of the 70s. This saga begins with a clandestine break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters. Located in the Watergate office complex, a group of burglars tied to Nixon's re-election campaign were caught red-handed, sparking a blaze of controversy. But the real scandal was not the break-in itself. It was the web of deceit spun by the Nixon administration, striving to obscure their involvement. A cover-up of epic proportions ensued, involving destroyed evidence, hush money, and outright lies. As the truth gradually surfaced, it became evident that the corruption reached the highest levels of power. This led to a constitutional crisis and ultimately to the resignation of President Nixon, the first and only US president to resign from office. A political scandal that shook the world, but was everything revealed? One can't help but wonder if there are still secrets buried in the annals of the Watergate scandal. In the mid-80s, the Iran-Contra affair took the world by storm. The Reagan administration, swathed in controversy, was exposed for covertly selling arms to Iran. But why, you might ask? The answer lay in a delicate hostage situation. The sales were a clandestine attempt to secure the release of American hostages held by Iranian allies in Lebanon. But the scandal didn't stop there. The profits from these sales were then funneled to support the Contra rebels in Nicaragua, in direct violation of the Boland Amendment, which expressly prohibited such funding. And when this complex web of deceit started to unravel, the cover-up began. Key documents were destroyed and officials scrambled to hide their involvement. Despite public investigations and convictions of several key players, many still question the extent of the cover-up. Just how much was kept hidden from the public eye? A scandal of international proportions, but how deep did the cover-up go? Fast forward to 2003, the invasion of Iraq. The world was on edge, with the US and its allies claiming that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction. As the drums of war beat louder, the United Nations and various intelligence agencies were skeptical of these claims, yet the invasion went forth. The war was devastating, with the destruction of infrastructure, loss of countless lives, and the displacement of millions. Yet in the aftermath, there was a glaring absence. The promised weapons of mass destruction were nowhere to be found. The intelligence was wrong, or was it intentionally misleading? The fallout was immense, with political and social ramifications that still echo today. The question remains, was this a genuine mistake, an intelligence failure on a grand scale, or was it a strategic deception? An invasion based on false pretenses, but was it all a cover-up? In 2008, a financial crisis rocked the globe. The world's economy was teetering on the brink, and at the heart of it were the big banks and the government's so-called oversight. Banks, once thought to be pillars of trust and stability, were implicated in reckless lending practices, pushing the world into a recession. But did we get the whole story? The government, in its bid to save the economy, pumped billions into these banks, essentially rewarding them for their irresponsible behavior. But was this merely a financial bailout or a cover-up of a larger issue? The true causes of the crisis, the systemic failures and the lack of accountability, were conveniently swept under the carpet. The aftermath saw a few regulatory changes, some public apologies, but no real justice for the millions who lost their homes and livelihoods. The big banks, it seemed, were too big to fail, too important to jail. A financial cover-up of epic proportions, but have we learned the truth? Fast forward to 2013, Edward Snowden blew the whistle on the NSA. He revealed a staggering truth about the United States government and its allies. They were spying on their own citizens. It wasn't just a few isolated incidents either. This was mass surveillance on a global scale, with countless phone calls, emails, and text messages being monitored and stored. The government, of course, was quick to downplay the scandal. They claimed it was a necessary measure to combat terrorism and maintain national security. But many questioned whether such an invasion of privacy was justified. Critics argued it was a gross overreach of power, a violation of the Fourth Amendment rights that protect citizens from unreasonable searches and seizures. The NSA surveillance scandal remains a contentious issue to this day, a stark reminder that the allure of safety can sometimes blur the lines between protection and intrusion, a violation of privacy on a massive scale. But what else is the government keeping tabs on? As we've seen, government cover-ups can have far-reaching consequences. From the mysterious Roswell incident that continues to fuel alien theories, to the chilling Operation Northwoods that was fortunately never enacted, these instances remind us of the lengths some entities will go to control the narrative. Then there's the Gulf of Tonkin incident, a pretext for war that led to countless casualties, and the Watergate scandal that shook the very foundations of American politics. The Iran-Contra affair too was a stark reminder of the clandestine operations that sometimes occur under our very noses. The invasion of Iraq, justified by unfounded claims of weapons of mass destruction, and the 2008 financial crisis, a disaster that many believe was preventable, both had profound global impacts that are still felt today. And let's not forget the NSA surveillance scandal, a breach of privacy on an unprecedented scale. All of these cover-ups underscore the importance of transparency and accountability in government. They serve as reminders that those in power must always be held to account, and that a vigilant public is crucial for a functioning democracy. Which cover-up shocked you the most? Were there any that you hadn't heard of before today? We'd love to hear your thoughts, and if there are any other topics that you'd like to see us delve into, please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-boggling content.